Hello everybody, I am Fuzzyface and welcome to part 9 of this career mode playthrough of Motorsport Manager. We are currently now still on top of the constructors standings, now by a massive 16 points here. Extending this gap every race now. I think we've been extending the gap for the last 3 races. It seemed to turn after a big duck chariot, saying that every time they got in front they managed to pull away from us, which they haven't been able to do for the last few races. They've been having a really nightmarish sort of a time. They've been finishing low down in qualifying and not being able to move up in the standings, up the grid throughout the race. Gonzalez has been ticking along. She's been scoring points. She's been managing 5th place is the worst place you can finish to get points in this series at the moment, which is 2 points. She's been ticking along, sort of picking up a few points, but we've been picking up quite a few points, and we've now extended that gap to 16 points, as I've said, which means Santa Ana is actually gaining on Gonzalez here. She's now only 5 points behind for the drivers' title. We've got a couple of sponsorships coming due here. We've got 2 offers here. Obviously, neither of these are really good, although, yeah, we're just going to wait until we get that 3rd offer in there. We're still building this brakes R&D facility so we can go ahead and build some pretty nice decent parts for the end of the season. We're currently working on these 4 parts here, which we can get up to over 500, so we can improve a lot of these by nearly 100 points here on both of these. But it's obviously going to take a long time here, even for Dunbar. It's going to take him 76 days, so it's going to take him 11 weeks, so it's possibly it's going to be ready about the same time as the brakes R&D facility is ready, so it's going to take quite a long time to get both those all those parts up to scratch to where we want them to be for the end of the season. So it's sort of making me think that we're not going to be able to build these parts, although we're going to go ahead and try, because if we do, I think it's this one, yeah, it's going to be all the risky ones pretty much in this, that one, and we can get 5 parts in this now, you see, so that's what we're aiming for. We can have a part at the end of the season that's rated 579. Obviously, we need to improve that 140 points, which is going to take a hell of a long time to do through the improvability part, and it's going to be the same as well for the other one. So that's something we're going to have to think about, see whether we've got enough time to do that. We should have, what would we have? It's going to take 11 weeks for that, so that will give us only about 4 weeks, but obviously we're only going to be doing 2 parts instead, so maybe we will have enough time to do it. Or maybe we'll just have enough time to do one of them and we'll have to pick what we want to go for to get up to that. But anyway, we've got a new vote now. We've got spec engines coming up. There's no restriction on engine development, allowing teams to improve their top speed at the cost of time and money. This rule will not benefit equality focused teams, and this rule will benefit traditional teams. Obviously, I think this would benefit us if we stayed down. I'm not actually going to waste 2 votes, and I've got 3 votes on this one. I might just save my votes up for next season if we do get promoted. Developing engines would be something I would want to do if we stay down here, because we do have a really good lead designer. He's got a 20 stat. It's not a really good lead designer, but he's really good at engines. He's got a 20 stat, which gives us a plus 20 whenever we design a new engine. And it was a big factor in us getting promoted from the European Racing Series, his knowledge on the engines and being able to build a better engine than everyone else, whilst all the other parts were spec brakes. So that is what we're going to go for. We're going to go for voting for spec. Getting rid of the engines being spec next season. That's something that could happen next season to us. Whether we stay down or not is another question, but other than that, there is not much to do now before Sydney. We're just going to keep an eye on this. So we've got a suspension rated 9th and we've got a rear wing rated 6, so we're just going to see where we can get that up to in 15 days, and we'll come back for practice. Right, so it's almost time to head towards the race weekend for Sydney. We've got an email here saying that Latinen, distractions are over, it's just racing for me from now on. So she's got a renewed passenger, she's got a +1 there, which is going to help us out quite a bit for the end of the season here. She's now up to 3 stars, she's matching Santa Ana pretty much in terms of overall star rating. We do have a sponsorship offer through here, so we can go ahead and get this now. Oh, it's just upfront payments, that's £100,000 per race. This is under £100,000 per race. Whereas this one is over £100,000 per race, so this is the best one we've got. It's going to be only be for 4 races, so it's possibly going to be the best. We've got a little bit of an upfront payment. We do now have 1.3 coming in per race, with an extra 800,000 that we can have if we finish 5th or above, which is going to run into next season as well. So we've got 5 races left now. Here it's Sydney. The gearbox is important, as is top speed, so it's another track that suits us, although we don't have the best front wing here. But obviously we do have the best gearbox still. Do we still have the best gearbox? Yes, we do. And Chariot actually don't have the second best gearbox now anymore. Well, hopefully that's going to come in handy for us here. It's going to be rainy for practice, but it's going to looks like it's going to be dry for qualifying, and it could be dry for the race. There might be a little chance of rain in there somewhere. But hopefully we're going to do pretty well here as well. It's another shortish, well, not shortest in the racetrack because they're all equal overall, but it's going to be a 14 lap race, so hopefully we can do pretty well here. It's going to be a high tyre wear rate, which is something that we're good at. We've got pretty decent tyre wear rates here, so hopefully it's going to be to our advantage. But we're going to run practice now and see where we come back and see what sort of ratings we get, and then we'll head to qualifying. Right, so practice is over, so you can see that we're not in the top 15, we're not in the top 16, 17, 18, but we are in 19th and 20th. So far behind, but that's because, look at that, we set an intermediate lap with Maya, who did an intermediate lap on intermediate tyres on what was a pretty much fully wet track, so that's why that is. And Santa Ana did a lap on full wet, so obviously she was a long way behind. We used it pretty early on just to try and get the setup just about right, which means we didn't get a lap in on any sort of dry tyre, so that's why we're so far behind there. We did pretty well with practice overall. We've got Santa Ana fully happy with the setup of the car. Latin not so much, 2 greens and a purple there, so we've got 98% there. Pretty much in the middle for gears and suspension, everything else pretty much about the same, and pretty high wing angles there. So we're going to go super softs here. I don't think it said it was going to be full sunshine for the race, didn't it? So we've got 2 pair of super softs that we can use here in qualifying. And Latinum we got up to a 95%, pretty much again in the middle, but one lower on each of these ones we went for. And the wing angles a little bit lower than what we had in Santa Ana's car, because she wasn't as happy. She was, when we used about the same as Santa Ana's, we were a long way out here, you see. We've pretty much the same setup as Santa Ana, so a lot of difference between the cars here of what the drivers actually want. So we're going to go ahead and take qualifying now, and we're going to come back when it's about time for possibly Santa. Yeah, we'll send Santa Ana out first. It's going to be Santa Ana doing a flying lap, which is what we're going to come back for. Right, so we've overheated with Santa Ana totally here. We messed that up a little bit because we're trying to stay ahead of this Eastwood car. I think it's an Eastwood car in front of us, which we didn't actually manage to do. So Santa Ana's going to be probably slowed down somewhat. Shocking on this lap. Latinen, we've got we've got a car just in front of her here, so if we try and speed her up to try and get some temperature in this, we're probably going to end up catching it up, but it doesn't look like we're going to catch it up too much. And obviously we can slow down around here, so we've got a little bit of clear air there for Latinen. Obviously Santa Ana's running into the back of this Eastwood car here, it looks like, although not too much. She's dropped behind it a little bit. She's not that far off the pace at the moment, so hopefully we're going to get a nice little good lap here. Latinen, where's she coming around? She's actually the quickest in the first sector so far, it looks like, but dropped down a little bit now. Someone's managed to go a little bit quicker. Santa Ana has got across the line in 4th. How many have set times at the moment? Not many, but we're ahead of one of the chariots there. So we're still waiting for Gonzalez to come round to see what the chariots are going to be doing this weekend. Latinen is going to come home in 9th place, so she's 1 up on Santa Ana at the moment. Not too bad. So obviously that's just our first lap. We're going to have to get both cars out pretty sharpish here, aren't we? Because yeah, we're going to have to get them both out pretty sharpish here, because qualifying is running down pretty quickly. And Gonzalez is 11th. Vidal is 18th. So the chariots look like they're off the pace as well this weekend. So I wonder what we could be getting here. So we can get Santa Ana straight back out, can we? Is that something we need to do? 3:51. It takes 1 minute 36 to get round. So should we wait a little bit? Or a lot of these on actual out laps at the moment? Oh, not out laps, in laps. They're all on in laps. So we're going to be able to beat them all out. Should we get Santa Ana out here? Should we try wait just a little minute for them to come in? So they're coming in. Should we try get out in front of them all? No, because then we'd run into the back of them all on their out lap, won't we? So we'll try let a few of them go here. Obviously we can't wait too long. We'll get Latinen out first, so then we can get Santa Ana out just as far on as we can that we dare do it. We'll try keep Latinen in front of these cars. We're going to have to try and get Santa Ana out around about now. So we're hoping... No, there's a car in front there as well, isn't there? The car just here. Who's actually in front of Latinen? Well, actually, let me click. Whoever's in front. Can we get on them here? Harbour lower. I think he must be in a boa. It looks like, and he looks pretty banged up there, doesn't he? So we're just going to get Santa Ana trundling around here. We'll get Latinen going. Should we let these other two cars past and drop right back? Just stay ahead of front of this red car behind us, whatever's coming off. I think it's a Kirov, is it? One of the Kirovs. We'll try stay in front of that car. Here as we come around, just try stay in front of this car. Although those other cars are backed up as well in front of us, so overheated on a couple of things there. It looks like if we drop off here with Santa Ana now, we can get a nice bit of clear track with her. We'll do that and try pick up in front of this car. Looks like we've overheated, but the clear air is more important than anything here. So we'll just pick back to the Latinen here. She's about a second off the pace here. So we'll go back to Santa Ana, see what she can get here. Is she going to be off the pace here? Is she going to be on it? Is she going to be on it? No, she's actually quickest in the first sector there. So hopefully we're going to be pretty decent again, because Gonzalez has actually gone quickest here. So we do actually need to try and get close to the chariot. So we're not going to get pole here, it doesn't look like. But can we get anywhere close to that? Probably going to be about 8th here. 16th, actually really slow around here, aren't we? Yeah, we were 14th and 16th around here last year, so we're actually really slow again. But it's just one, the other chariot's pretty high up, so maybe the chariot's got a chance to try and close this gap a little bit here on us during this race. We're actually pretty slow there, even with a clean lap, weren't we? Maybe that's to do with the front wing not being up to scratch here. But all the times were pretty close there, wasn't there? There's only a second separating the top 15 up to about us, like 1.5 seconds all the way back down to the bottom of the grid. That's pretty close for this series. It's usually not that close. So, super soft and nurse as we always do. Super soft and nurse. And super soft and risk taker for Latinen. Car setup. We're gonna go with the full complement of fuel here. It's 14 laps, so it's 6 laps of fuel, so computer usually probably gets about 5 laps out, so they might be struggling with fuel towards the end of the race, so this might benefit us using our usual thing of trying to go a bit longer than everyone else. There's no rain forecast, or there wasn't. Whether any will turn up during the race, I don't know, and obviously we've got the same for Latinen. There's no need for us to use a soft tyre at any point during this race, so we're not gonna. We can do this full race on the super softs, and we can possibly push for a lap as we usually do and then turn down. Probably what we're gonna do, maybe we'll push for a bit longer with Santa Ana. We've got the chance to put 80 with 2 stops. We've got the chance to put 18 laps of fuel in this car, so we can possibly push for quite a few of them with Santa Ana. You don't have to worry about the condition of her car, which is away pretty well there, although Latinen shoots up the outside and gets ahead of her there, so it's probably going to be a little bit of a struggle this race. Obviously we need to get both tyres up to temperature before we think about even conserving these, because they're pretty low down here. Hopefully we don't take any damage around these first few corners where we're all bunched together. We've had quite a good run without getting the car damaged since moving up to the Asia Pacific League. In the European, you always used to get a few little knocks, although we were pretty good down there as well for getting knocks and stuff. We never had teammates run into each other, or there were a few rear wings that got knocked off and stuff like that, but other than that we've been pretty decent with all that stuff. And a lot of these cars down here on the sauce, it looks like they're going to try and run a bit longer, so we probably should start turning down, because we've got no chance of really getting overtaking us. It's really hard to overtake in this series. So we're going to go ahead and turn down and just try and outlast a lot of these cars. We should be able to keep up with a lot of the cars on the soft tyres since we're on the super softs. So it's just a matter of where we can filter back out after the first round of pit stops here, isn't it? That's what we're aiming for, that's what we're hoping for. So we're just hoping that we can get somewhere once we've done these first few pit stops. It looks like both chariots are possibly going to end up in the points at the end of this race. Gonzalez is out in front. Vidal is in 6th at the moment. They're the ones that we need to keep an eye on. They could possibly close this gap right back up here. Obviously Gonzalez has already got 2 points extra for the pole position bonus. So hopefully we can keep get one of these cars in the points, although from where we are at the moment it's not looking likely unless some rain comes and saves the day at some point. And we're starting to drop behind here, so maybe, no, we're actually keeping about the same. We're just going to keep our strategy. We're not involved in any car-to-car racing here. So it's probably around the point that some of these are starting to pit now. So we're going to push for our last lap before we come into the pits, which is not the one. We've possibly got another one coming after this one, so where should we go ahead? It's possibly going to be the one after this where we're going to go ahead and push. Although one of the cars is going to have to try and go a little bit longer than the other. Should we get Santa Ana in early? Should we get Latin in early? Don't know. A lot of these cars are actually starting to pit about now, so we're going to have to go ahead and push, aren't we? One of the cars at least. Could we get Santa Ana around another lap here? What's the distance between these two cars? 6 seconds. That's not enough at the moment for him to come in and not double stack. And look at that, Gonzalez is actually out in front of both of our cars there. So we'll go ahead and push with Santa Ana now. I don't think we've got enough distance between them not to double stack, although that's what we're going to have to do. Tyres ended up pretty cold there, so that's probably why we dropped behind quite a bit there, isn't it? So we're possibly going to end up somewhere near the back after this round of pit stops. Maybe we should run Latin on low. She's done a bit of a better job with the fuel there, hasn't she? Tyres are pretty cold, so she might lose some time here. Santa Ana's going to come in anyway. Super sauce fuel up to the top, and maybe we can just go ahead and push from this point on with Santa Ana. No need to turn down unless the tyres start losing distance. So have we got enough to get around with Latin in? No, we haven't. We're just about going to run out here. So not the best strategy wise this time with Latin in. But it's what we're going to have to try and do. Hopefully she's got enough to get around just enough that it doesn't affect her. Maybe she can just roll into the pits at some point. So where are we at here? 15th with Santa Ana. It's just wherever Latinen can filter back out here. Obviously not the best of races, but hopefully Latinen can hold a few of these up and sort of try and bunch them back together. But she's going to start running out of fuel now, just as she rolls into the pit. So she didn't lose any time from running out of fuel. Although she's going to come back out behind, no, in front of Santa Ana. So she did really well there, actually getting out in 13th. And we could possibly push her as well. So we can have both of these cars push. And it looks like they're going to be in a head-to-head race with each other. Although De Wolf there gets in between them both. So it's going to be wherever we can filter back out after this round of pit stops. Obviously we can now just push until the end of the race here, it looks like. We're a long way behind anything. We're a long way behind the points. I don't think points is an option here. So where is Vidal here? Vidal's actually dropped down to 12th, so it's only Gonzalez that's in the points at the moment. But we're doing quite well here at moving up the order. Whether Latinen can pick up a few more places here, we need to at least get a few points, hopefully. Although, as I keep saying, I don't think that is going to be an option in this race. We finished 8th and 10th last year in Sydney. So it's a track that we don't have a lot of luck with. And a lot of them have made their pit stops, so it's whether we can get enough distance now. Whilst we've got this, we've only got one more lap to go before we have to pit. Although we've got quite a way to go with Latinen here, haven't we? She's managed to hold on to her fuel a little bit longer there. I wonder why that is, I don't know. Just maybe because of that extra lap, isn't it? It's possibly why, because we had her turned down. So Santa Ana's got to come in this time for her last pit stop. What won't give her enough fuel? She's going to have to fill it right to the top. I'm going to go fast. Although she's stuck behind Latinen a little bit here, although they're possibly doing about the same pace. And it looks like we're going to come around, back out in round probably about 14th maybe. Hopefully not that far down. Hopefully we get a good pit stop here. Good and good. Where can we get back out? 12th. A little bit better than I was expecting there. Obviously Latinen this time. She's got to come in this time. She shouldn't have to fill up, but where does it say she's got enough from there? So we'll fill up so we can just push it if we need to until the end of the race. See where we can get back out here. See whether Latinen can actually get back out ahead of Santa Ana here. Because Santa Ana's running in 12th. Stuck in a bunch of cars here. We're running quicker than Zarate. I think we are. Where can Latinen get back out here? She's going to get out, back out into 7th there. Pretty well done from Latinen over that last stint. And Santa Ana's now up into 9th. So not too bad from where we were on the grid at the start of the race. So whether we've got enough in us to chase down these couple of cars in front of us. We do have excess fuel in both cars. Latin obviously has enough to keep pushing here, and she is actually gaining on Larson here. So we'll switch back to her here. There's not much difference between Latin and Santa Ana, and not that far apart. How much is it in seconds between those two? It's quite about 3.5 seconds, isn't it? So there's a little bit of distance there, but she is gaining on Larson here. So it looks like we might be able to just get in the points, hopefully. Although it's going to take some doing to actually get past Larson. Larson's on a fresher pair of softs, but we're on a super soft. So hopefully we've got a little bit more speed than her. As we go around here, we're going to be approaching the final lap here, so it doesn't look like we're going to be able to chase down 5th. And the Chariot is in 1st, so it looks like Gonzalez might be picking up 12 points in this race. She's been out in front, so she's probably going to set the fastest lap as well. So it looks like in one race our lead is going to drop to 4 points. Hopefully that is not going to be the case. Do we have enough fuel in Santa Ana to get her around? Yes, we do. We can just keep running as we are. No tyre wear issues or anything. Just keep pushing and pushing. Latinen is stuck a little behind Larson here. We could have possibly got to 50 if we could have got past Larson, but no. Oh no, final lap. Final lap. No, I've messed that up. Why did I miscount then? Why did I miscount? No, no. No, although it don't matter because Santa Ana's actually 8th place there, isn't she? So when it's not like we're going to lose any points here. But Latinen does have enough to keep pushing. We've moved up one there, so can we get past Larson here? Don't think we can. Someone's running out of fuel. Is anyone else going to run out of fuel here? Hopefully. No, it doesn't look like it. I don't think Latinen's going to get past Larson. She's not quite good enough to get past Larson here, is she? And Santa Ana's just about going to run out of fuel, but it doesn't look like she's going to drop any places because of it. Is she going to lose her place? Vidal's going to come, we're going to finish ahead. Yes, we did just. So we didn't actually lose any places because of that little mistake. But 6th and 7th, not bad. But obviously it is not in the points, and Gonzalez has actually lost 1st place there. So that is a little boost in our direction right there at the end. I don't know whether she ran out of fuel or whether it was because the tyres were so bad. Does it say whether she's out of fuel? No, I don't think she ran out of fuel. I just think it was because the tyres ran down so much. So not bad, obviously disappointed to finish outside the points, although Sydney last year was a race we did really poorly in. I don't know whether that's just because of all these like little tight corners and so on and so forth that we don't actually do the best in qualifying. Obviously that's because of our front wing. We don't do well in the low speed corners. So not too bad overall there. Probably a little bit better than I was expecting from the Sydney race. But hopefully we can go on from this point, and look, Gonzalez actually picked up 10 points as I was thinking because she got pole and the fastest lap bonus. So yeah, so our lead will now be 6 points, won't it? And Gonzalez will have pulled away here in the Drivers' Championship. And we've got 6 points now. So we've got 4 more races to go, and obviously the last race of the season, which is the most important one because it's got double points, so that's the one that we definitely need to finish ahead of Chariot in. So up until that point, what races have we got? It's a Phoenix got voted out this year, so we've still got the oval track this year, haven't we? So everyone's still happy. Obviously the chairman was a little bit unhappy because we came 6th overall there. Obviously we didn't get any of the bonuses for this race. We're finishing so low down. So where are we going to be at overall here? Let's have a look. Come on. Why is it taking so long to save this time? Scouting. One of the scouting's done. Chica Balcazar is 3.5. she's investing in her team, but obviously that won't affect us if we took her. Let's just get through with the interviews first. No, she did really well, but just go ahead with that one. And no, Santa Ana did really well as well, so we just do ahead with that one. Adfault wind scouting report finished. So what have we got left? Black Sea. Russia was a fear. Yeah, Russia was a little bit of a bug track for us in the European series. Although it's going to be a wet race here, so that should hopefully play into our hands like it usually does. Phoenix, no chance of rain at all. And we did get held up on this one a little bit last season. Guildford, which was a double points last season, which we did quite well in, I think. Is obviously not the last race this season because we've had Munich, which might be a chance of raining. So hopefully this is the one that we have to do really well in. Hopefully we can pick up points here and here. Phoenix obviously last season was a struggle because of the way the AI works and getting stuck with back markers and stuff like that. And obviously not being able to do well in qualifying, so hopefully we can go ahead and do something in these 3 races and hopefully stay ahead of Chariot in the Munich race to stay on top. Predator, top of the charts. Latton's dropped down there because Monroe's actually making a charge again in the MRT, although the MRT and the Boa are so far behind here that it's just a 2-horse race for the title between us and Chariot. So it's whether Chariot start to drop off again before the end of the season. So we've got 17 days to go. I don't think there's anything to go in between, so we're just going to go ahead and skip here so we're at the race start for the next one. So we'll see where we're at. We've got Frankie Parks hated by O Mechanics. He's not our driver, so we don't have to worry about that. Sponsors, we've got this one coming up, so we might get a little bit of a bonus here. We're going to go ahead and skip now until just before this race, just to see if we can move up any further in this. We've got 8th and 6th at the moment. We've got to try and get ahead there. Obviously we can go ahead and put the other best rear wing in the... Which one is it? Which one is it? We don't actually have it in the car at the moment, do we? Because it wasn't the best rated part at one point, and it is actually this one which will be the best rated part soon. So we can go ahead and put that in Santa Ana's car now. And yeah, we'll come back just as this race is about to start. Obviously I'm not going to be doing that race this time. We're just going to see where we're at with being here. So we've got the 6th best car rated overall. We're 8th and 6th, so we'll try and remember that, and we'll come back when it's time to look at that. Right, so we're back just before the Black Sea Grand Prix. We've moved up to 7th there on the suspension. Still the same on the rear wing, and still the same overall. But it's because these parts take quite a long time to get up to scratch, but I'm thinking that a lot of the cars are pretty advanced in these areas, whereas we're really advanced in the gearbox, so maybe that's why. Freya Larson wants to leave Ruiz Motorsport. It says we've got a sponsorship offer that we have to go ahead with here. Obviously this is one that we never actually go for, and none of these two are actually better. What we've got, although there's a 3.2 bonus here for Russia, which would make this around possibly like 2.3ish, would it? Yeah, possibly something around that. So should we take that one? But obviously there's this one for the end of the season, which is 2 times. We'll do this one because we might take a risk and do this for the Russia race. We'll take that because we might take a risk and do it next time out for Black Sea. We might actually go ahead and try it ahead and go and do that. Maybe. We'll see. But other than that, there's not much to do. We did scout some more drivers. We scouted Cyril. Just 3. He's not good enough. He's not good enough. We're looking for 4 if we're going to replace Alvarez here. A wonder kid, although he's not got any more potential. Overtake specialist, but he hates leading. 45%. What was Chica? 40%. We obviously need one that's pretty high up in marketability. 71%. A slacker though. Fitness mechanic down. Nice girl. Team morale. Cycling champion. And addictive personality. Although that's about to run out, so our focus won't be going back up here. We've actually got overtaking fitness. Consistency down. Not quite sure. We are scouting a couple more at the moment. Who else are we scouting? We're a couple here. See what there. Rick de Graaf is obviously one of the best paid drivers in the series, although his contract is coming up with the Esprit, however you say it. So his contract is coming up at the end of this year. Obviously if we do go with him, it would take up a lot of our budget, so we'll just see what sort of rating he's got. Obviously he won't sign at the moment because we're so far down. I wonder where Esprit are, because they went up last season, didn't they? That's probably the last thing we'll check here. They're actually bottom, so they're going to be coming back down. So maybe he would take a little bit of a pay cut to come for us, I don't know. But anyway, that's where we're going to leave it today. If you're not already subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below. Leave a thumbs up and leave a comment. And yeah, that's it for today. So I will see you down the road in Russia for the Black Sea Grand Prix. And goodbye.